And on the impact of Donald Trump, this is quite extraordinary. I know that he's got those that you either love him, loathe him, in the middle, whatever your view is of Donald Trump. The way that he throws world leaders, the diplomatic rule book out the window, basically, and it looks like, thankfully, on this occasion, it's working, and give our viewers a sense of just how he is perceived in Israel, Donald Trump.
Look, he is the greatest friend of Israel that Israel has ever had in a United States president. The relationship as well between Trump and Netanyahu is very close. They're in constant contact. There is the most enormous gratitude in Israel to Donald Trump. He is a wartime hero to them. First, he went in and backed Israel with the taking out of the nuclear sites in Iran, and then Trump managed to broker this deal. Again, no one thought Hamas would ever agree to release the hostages. Now, I have to say, Kieran, though, that Trump wouldn't have been in a position to negotiate this peace deal had Israel not launched the attack on the Hamas billionaire leadership in Qatar. That was what predicated Trump being in a position to negotiate the peace deal. And the reason is because Qatar, which has been harbouring the Hamas billionaire leaders, giving them a safe place to live, financing the terrorism in part as well, it wasn't truly putting pressure on Hamas. Now, after Israel launched that strike in Qatari land, in its sovereignty, Trump basically did a deal with Qatar, and I think we're going to hear more about this in the weeks ahead, but basically he pledged to them, and we saw that executive order. Trump said to Qatar, we will treat an attack on Qatar as an attack on the United States as well. We will come to your aid. But obviously a deal was done where they had to force Hamas to release the hostages and agree to this peace plan. So, the role in Israel in defeating all of its enemies, including that last daring strike on the Hamas leadership, Trump would never have been in a position to do the deal without that. If Israel hadn't taken on Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and that strike in Qatar.
Indeed, and as we mark 2 years, I spoke to the Israeli ambassador at the end of last week, and he, as a former senior military person, he did, like a lot of Israelis, he did his service. His father did, his grandfather. He's hoping and praying that one day his grandchildren won't have to do the same, and there would be peace. I guess it's a moment of, as we started our conversation, Sharri, a moment of great anxiety, but there is a sense of hope, rare hope for the Middle East.
Look, enormous hope. I can't tell you the lightness, the happiness, the joy that the Jewish community in Australia is feeling as well, that we share with Israel. And I saw Emir Maimon just last night at the commemoration of October 7 in Sydney, where some 7,000 Jews were gathered. There is so much hope that this war can end and peace can return. And hopefully that will then be reflected on our streets here. We've had enough of this division and hatred and anti-Semitism. But I also have to say that there is a concern, as you know, that in return for the release of the hostages, Israel has had to release 250 Palestinian prisoners. Many of them, Kieran, are terrorists who have murdered and committed attacks on Israel. Then just in the past day or so, since the ceasefire has taken effect, we've seen Hamas back out on the streets. They've been arresting any rival groups. There has been, murder and bloodshed on the streets of Gaza by Hamas. So this is still an ongoing concern. I think we can't be so naive to think that there's not going to be the threat of terror in the future. This is still an ongoing problem, and dealing with that will be far more difficult.
Indeed, it's going to be diabolical, but we hope. And Sharri, thank you. I'll come back to you as soon as we see any movement. Sharri, if can stand by for us. Sharri Markson, we'll go back to her as soon as there's any movement. Obviously, a massive story out of the Middle East.